10. Lm110 front car. Within the other half. Get us back to
When's your favorite time to drive at Daytona?
24 hours on Daytona.
It's night shift.
Car
I
crashes.
definitely got the great night shift. I drove, I believe, from 2:15 in the morning to almost 4 o'clock, 4:45 in the morning. So that was crazy. So I was just trying to talk with the guys. You know,
Ford
we're doing
Mustangs.
mathematical jokes. You know, my engineer Dave was like, "Hey, how many laps do you think you did?" I was like, "Well, 2 hours 20 minutes at 3.5 minutes per lap." I was pretty close to nailing it on.
Right.
But yeah, it is the best time to drive, in my opinion. When you know everything is quiet, you get in your rhythm, focus.
Ford Mustangs.
Now my favorite time will be at the end of the race, middle of the day. It's nice and sunny out, and hopefully, you know, we can do something cool. Thanks, Danny. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's nice.
Just over 7 hours to go then in the
That's
64th running of the Rolex 24
car.
Hours at Daytona. Let's take a VP Fuels in race update.
Number
Your
7.
leader at the moment is
Well,
the
not
number
car,
7
that's
Porsche Bentley
the
Motorsport machine of Julian
there.
Andler. That
418
trying
kilometers
to
per
go
hour.
for 3 in a row here at the Rolex
88
24.
flight plane.
Then it's the number 85
Class
GTC Miller Porsche of Kaelin Frederick and Lawrence Van Tor in the number 6 Porsche Bentley Motorsport machine, making it a Porsche 123 as things currently stand, of course, behind the pace car under full course yellow due to the fog. Louis Delatraz sits in 4th place in the number 40 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac. That crew
Yellow
trying
flag.
to equal the Chip Ganassi team with a 6th win here at the Rolex 24. AJ Allmendinger, former winner of this race, done this race over 15 times and never with any other team than Meyershank Racing. They sit in 5th at the moment. 6th place is the number 25 BMW of Raffaele Marciello with the sister car of
green flag.
behind. Frederick Vesti for the number 31 Whale Engineering Cadillac crew sits in 8th, and then in 9th it is the number 10.
Come on, faster! How could you're getting a slower pit stop? Pit stop getting a slower.
In LMP2, it's Nolan Siegel for the number 343 in
almost
the Europol competition car.
Rear front brake. Rear right, rear left, front left,
Sebastian Bourdais for Tower Motorsports has just come out of the pits.
beating like us.
Taken over in
Each short there. The Volnat Lm110, C110 cockpit. 2001. The fastest car at 115 kilometers per hour. Impedes, double beat aligned.
Class Toby Sowney for CrowdStrike 04 is in 6th then. Sebastian Bourdais has
Ferrari
faltered into 7th position after
Ferrari
Oliver Jarvis for Intersport Racing is
Ferrari
in 8th, just a couple
499
of laps
B.
off the lead in category. In GTD Pro at the moment, led by the number 69 Get Speed Run Mercedes with the Bartol Brothers machine, with Maxi Coates doing the driving duties at the moment. Then it's the first of the factory Corvettes, car number 4, Nicky Katzberg, number 64, Ford Racing, Ford Mustang of Dennis Olsen, who of course won the race last year in the 65 car. Then it's the Grello Manti Racing, Klaus Bachler driving at the moment, 4th in the class. Alexander Sims, who spent plenty of time at the front of the field earlier in the race, is sitting in 5th right now. Then in 6th place is the BMW M4 GT3 Evo of Neil Verhagen. And GTD is the bronze class car, the 912 Manti Racing car, which recovered from a 3 minute and 36
60 seconds speed stop. I'm getting a slower. 1 minute speed stop.
Patrick Gallagher for Turner Motorsport sits in 2nd. Then it's a trio of Aston Martin Vantages. Zachary Robichon for Harding Racing, Carl Bennett from Vanderster, and Spencer Papelli for Magnus Racing. That is your VP Fuels in Race Update. So it's Peter Mackay and Bruce Jones here in the Ford Racing Global Broadcast Centre. Under 7 hours to go here in the 64th running of the Rolex 24 at Daytona. It's just around 20 to 7 local time here in Daytona Beach, Florida. the current weather prediction is that the weather is going to be, the thick fog is going to be with us until
7 kilometers per
around
hour.
9 o'clock. It's a prediction. Let's hope that's a cautious prediction. Fingers crossed. I really hope it's not an optimistic prediction.
Well, there had been times in the last few hours I was beginning to think it was getting a bit optimistic at 9 o'clock, because it seemed to be getting worse and worse. At various points, we've hardly even been able to see the pit apron across from our lofty position in the giant grandstand right on the start-finish line. Can't see the cars other than when they come halfway between Speedway Turn 4, that's the final corner of this tri-oval. We can see them go past us, going down into Turn 1. We can pick up headlights sometimes as they come back out of the infield section, but not always. The fog is not constant, but my concern is I think this is a lot thicker than the fog that greeted us on race morning, Saturday morning at Daytona. It was foggy when we got to the circuit, but nothing like it is now. We came in through the gate. What time was it yesterday morning? At 7:45 to the historic race. The cars went out on track, and we were looking at each other going, do you reckon they'll race in this? But they couldn't see a lot down the back straight, but it burnt off quite quickly. But I think with there were fewer cars in that, I mean, more cars moving around it and stuff, at least that will help dry the track out. But I'm just concerned it's very, very thick fog. Will we get 4.5 hours of green flag racing through to the end of the race? I don't know. Will it be more? Can't be sure. We'll say yes. I fear it rather might be only 4 hours to go, which will make it a real thrashing. Not the last couple of 24 hours here, but the margins of victory haven't been large, have they? 2025, Porsche Penske Motorsport, Felipe Nasr, Nick Tandy, Lawrence Vantol. They won by 1 second from Tom Blomqvist, Scott Brown, Scott Dixon, and Felix Rosenquist, which is half what it was the year before. Dan Cameron, Matt Campbell, Felipe Nasr, Joseph Newgarden by 2 seconds of victory.
Let's catch up with Arjuna in the pit lane for more.
Yellow flag.
A couple of things down on pit lane, a couple of driver changes, both in the prototypes and the GTDs, seeming as though the drivers have got their wake-up calls and being inserted into the cars to provide some relief. But in terms of the weather, Peter, you know how it is. We're both golfers. Sometimes we want to check tea time tomorrow morning. Is the weather going to be okay? And I've been analyzing my own weather app. I'm pretty confident that between 9 and 9:30 we should see the majority of this mist burning off. The forecast I've got in front of me says by around 10 a.m. the visibility will be good enough to go racing for sure, and so hopefully we are getting closer and closer to that. But talking with some drivers, of course, this is a very, very different Daytona 24 to the one they expected, but also, Peter, to the one we had last year, where it was very cold but no fog to interrupt the proceedings.
That's true. I've been coming to the Rolex 24 at Daytona for the last 5 years, and I've seen it. Never really seen a wet race actually, but I've seen it be nice and warm, like it was at the start of the race, and I've seen it literally go around freezing centigrade temperatures during the night. I just got this image in my mind of Helio Castroneves is fully suited and booted up, hands divided up at the lock, with a massive sort of double duvet wrapped around him to keep himself warm before jumping into the car. So you can get a bit of everything here at Daytona. Come to Florida, they said it'll be lovely. They said it was, and it will be. It will be later on, I'm sure. We're going to have a sun-kissed finale to the last
Not so long ago, I was flicking back to look at some video footage from the start of the race, and I sort of forgotten it was glorious sunshine. But ironically, the drivers are behaving impeccably in the misty conditions. Before we went to this full course yellow that's been running for 4 hours and more, but it behaved impeccably at the start of the 24 hours with
we're taking cars,
NMP2 cars rather over-ambitious into the first corner of the opening lap. A few cars been supporting damage from early stints, but that said, obviously we wouldn't have lost any cars unless there was mechanical failure behind the full course yellow group, but we started with 60 cars, we've got 55 cars still running, but that looks there's going to be a very high figure to still have running at this point with the way people are behaving on the end of the lap. So, and I love that. My phrase the race so far came from Kenny Harbaugh, the driver of the 75 Express car, when he described the antics of some of the other drivers as they were a load of chemicals and winnie. Yes, that may have been it. Thank you. What word can I put in that? I
can't say on air.
I think leave it at Pelicans.
I think Pelicans is good. Yeah, I think we got the gist of it. Yeah, I have to agree with Kenny. I have to say that it was flabbergasting, really, to see the aggression.
Why is it never
the
fast race car?
In the LMP2 category. I mean, it's yes, the least experienced drivers are starting the race with the pressure of a 24-hour race. It's easy to make a mistake, and when you're in a pack, those consequences are high. But yeah, it was not what you'd like to see at the start of 24 hours.
No, it wasn't. One of the cars that got spun around actually by a bit of over-ambition behind was Robin Freitz, the number 24 BMW. You're thinking, hold on, you've got to turn 3 on the opening round. One of the cars that could potentially go on to win this race. As it is, it's sitting 4th overall, but obviously I still don't think the BMWs have the ultimate pace. But the shorter the run is to the finish, the more of a chance they have to get towards the finish. But
almost see the flag.
They really worked before the first lap was completed. So across the grass, spinning around with
number 85.
It was one of those moments
85.
where it really, really wrong.
Where's my 85?
They've done a fantastic job. Every
Come on,
opportunity they've had to put people out on the track to clear up debris. They have done it.
Well, our intrepid pit reporter Arjuna Kankavadi has done a superb job running down stories for us. Wherever they are, he finds them. Let's catch up with them.
I wish I could take credit for this one, Peter, but no running around. Instead, I just needed to go on social media, and a shout out to Garrett, who's let me know that about an hour and a half ago, Neil Verhagen requested jokes from the pit box, to which they obliged, generated them with ChatGPT. However, the results of which were not so impressive. But this is a great thing about being at the Rolex 24. You can turn your scanner on, listen into those team communications, and just follow along with the storylines of your favorite teams and